Welcome back to Good Things. Don't forget we are streaming live, as always, over at SuperTalk.fm. We're also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app. We hope you have that downloaded. You can find us, too, on your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station or watch us on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. And if you're in the central Mississippi area, you need to head on over to Pearl to the outlets of Mississippi because 7 Days for the Troops is still wrapping up their 7 Days for the Troops. And Scott Burns is, are you calling us from the top of the tower today, Scott?
I am on top of the tower. This is day 5, I believe. Yeah, day 5. We still got a couple of days left on top of the tower here at the outlets of Mississippi. And today's a special day because starting at 3 o'clock today, 3 to 5, as long as supplies last, we're going to be feeding veterans out here at the food court area, compliments of Outback Steakhouse.
That is awesome, Scott. Okay, I feel like our listeners probably know you by now, but just in case, tell us about 7 Days for the Troops. It's specifically what you're doing there at the outlets of Mississippi in the last couple of days for you.
Well, 7 Days for the Troops is an organization that I started 19 years ago as a way to give back. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, double amputee, and I wanted to still be able to serve, but I couldn't be in the military, but I could still serve the men and women that do serve. So we started 7 Days for the Troops just to kind of help out, and it's turned into 19 years later. We've been able to help veterans anything from pay utility bills to build tiny homes for veterans with our partnership with Purple Heart Homes. And we have a mission to try to help fill the gaps when it comes to veterans' needs, especially those veterans that have emergency situations, that things come up, and to help keep their stress level down, we try to do our part to help fill the gap.
And you did that by kind of putting yourself, I was going to say out there, but out there and up there, and doing that in a unique way by building towers in different locations and then literally spending 7 days on top of the tower to kind of raise awareness, communication, and, all the things in that city. So you went up at what time in there at the outlets of Mississippi and Pearl?
I went up at 10 o'clock on on Saturday, and I'll be here until 10 o'clock on Friday, which was 168 hours, camped out on top of the tower. And people ask me, Scott, do you really stay up there at night, or do you sneak down and go to the hotel? I've stayed up here. Even last night, it was a little chilly last night, but we stayed up here. And our reason for doing it is it helps have people talk about what's going on with veterans and veterans' needs, and it's just a different way to draw attention to those needs.
So did you have an extra layer last night, like I was going to say beanbag, but that's not the word it's coming to. What are you sleeping in, like a cot or on the ground?
Well, I actually have a little cot with a quilt, and I have a small heater up here, and I learned a long time ago, I've been doing this for 19 years, but I learned probably 10 years ago that people weren't donating money because I was miserable up here. And so I've tried to make it as comfortable as possible, and that way I didn't get burnt out and not want to do it anymore. But it's not home, but I've created my own little home environment up here.
Do you have lots of folks coming by and chatting with you and keeping you company, though? Or, how are you spending your time when it's not like the peak hours of folks coming through?
Well, of course, I've got my iPad, and I'll catch up with emails and text and people asking questions about the event, but I'll watch a few movies while I'm up here, and honestly, about 8 o'clock at night, I'm ready for bed, so I'll lay down and go to sleep and then wake up about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and start all over again.
What's the first thing you do when you get off that tower, Scott?
Hug my wife's neck and just thank her for allowing me to continue to do what I'm doing to help veterans, because this is a challenge for her. I've got 2 small kids at home, a 5 and an 11-year-old, so she has to manage the household every time I go and do this, and if she complains, she doesn't do it to me. So she's a sure trooper and allows me to continue to do what I do.
Well, that just goes to show, too, when people called into the service, whether it's a man or a woman, it's a family affair in terms of service as well. So it's no different whenever you're giving back in the way that you do, Scott. And then talking about coming up in about 30 minutes, you're going to have the opportunity to feed a bunch of veterans from Outback. How did that come about?
Well, I reached out to the fine folks, Steve, there at Outback, and told him what I was thinking about doing, and he said, "Look, we're going to provide enough food for up to 200 veterans, and I believe that they're doing the Outback burgers and sides with that, and so we're going to have enough food, like I said, for 200 veterans with drinks and sides, and all you got to come in and show, some form of ID that you are a veteran." And if you don't have that form of ID, we're not going to turn you away. But we are encouraging veterans and active duty military to come out and say, hey, I want to say thank you for your service. As a veteran, I know the sacrifices that are made away from family. And this was just our way of doing something different at this event to help say thank you to our veterans.
How important is it, Scott, and not just on Veterans Day? And I know many of them, it's their job, it's what they were called to do. They're not doing it for the thanks and for the praise and all of that. But as a veteran yourself, and so many you've come across, when the everyday public does take a moment just to acknowledge, hey, I appreciate your service. I know that you may have chose to do it, but you didn't have to, and you're asked for a lot when you're called up and out. What does it mean to them when they are recognized for the sacrifices that they make or could make in the future?
Well, I'm going to speak for me personally and some of the veterans that I spoke to. We did sign up. That's something that, it's a choice that most of us made, from the time I was in. And we've got a group of Vietnam veterans that they didn't have that choice, and some of them were said, hey, you've got to go. But even nowadays, they're getting that thanks and appreciation that they didn't get when they came home. And so I think it helps them deal with the negativity of when they came home way back when. They're getting people saying thank you, just like our event. We'll have a lot of Vietnam veterans out here today, and they get the same thank you and the same praise as anybody that serves today. And I think it does encourage them. But, I'm going to go as far as saying, even like you with your job, you appreciate when somebody tells you thank you and that you did a good job. And so it just encourages you to continue to do what you're doing and continue to serve. And even though that's not why you do it, it doesn't hurt any to know that somebody appreciates what you did.
Absolutely. And that's step one. And step two is just making sure, like you said, Scott, some of those gaps are filled when services aren't there that should be to help out veterans who find themselves in a hard time or an uncomfortable place. And that's why you're doing this. So from day one, I know that you've kind of helped fill in those gaps. Obviously, it takes funds and resources to do that, right? So what are the unique ways or the ways that people can help you continue with your mission there for 7 Days for the Troops?
The easiest way is to go to our website, the number 7daysforthetroops.org, 7daysforthetroops.org. Right at the very top of the page, there's a donate button. Or you can text me personally. You can text the word I want to donate, and I can send you a direct link. And my phone number is 662-401-3349. That's 662-401-3349. And we'll send you a link how to donate, and we're trying to keep it simple. We know times are tough, and people don't have a lot of extra income, and so we're just trying to do something simple this time. We're trying to get 1,000 people to donate $10, and that's our goal, and that's our mission, is just to say, you know what, I can donate $10. I want to be one of the 1,000. And so I want to encourage you guys, if you can be one of the thousands, to jump on board and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to donate $10. If you have more to donate, then please, feel free to do so. 100% of every dollar donated goes to help veterans. We don't have a paid staff. Our sponsors cover the cost of our event. So if you make a donation, that donation goes to help veterans.
And to date, Scott, do you know about how much 7 Days for the Troops at almost 20 years, 19 years now, has been able to give back and fill in the gaps for veterans?
Almost $750,000. We're a few $1,000s short of hitting that $750,000 mark, and that's with $750,000 going to help veterans, from us donating money to organizations like 7 Days like Purple Heart Home, Wounded Warriors. We've helped Fifth Squad, the American Legion. We believe in teaming up and partner with other organizations. We've got a unique way to raise money. And so we try to help not only 7 Days for the Troops, but we try to help other organizations that come across veterans that need help, and we try to assist them. So we do our part to help as many people as we can.
All right, Scott. Well, I hope you enjoy your time up there, and many come out and take advantage of that free meal for veterans. And thank you for your service.
I appreciate it, and thank you to all the veterans out there and to my Marine brothers. Happy 250th birthday.
All righty, you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.